Yeah, the best of luck. Our next guests are probably best known for rather different roles than the ones that they're here to talk about today.
One of them you may recognise as a regular bromance of A-lister Matt LeBlanc.
And the other is usually a deep, undercover super sleuth for MI5.
Well, now, for the first time, they're coming together as the infamous comedy duo Jeeves and Wooster in the London's West End.
Put in that check suit I've just had made, will you?
Are you quite sure, sir?
Yes, I need something to cheer me up.
Might I inquire if you are proposing to appear in public in those garments, sir?
Yes, Jeeves, don't you like them?
A trifle too bizarre, sir, in my opinion.
Well, lots of fellows have asked me who my tailor is.
Doubtless in order to avoid him, sir.
He's supposed to be one of the best men in London.
I am saying nothing about his moral character, sir.
Yes, well, whatever your opinion, Jeeves, I should like you to pack it.
Very good, sir.
Oh, they're struggling to watch
What is wrong
themselves.
with you both?
Stephen Mangan and Macfadyen join us.
On actors ridiculous. We stand on stage in front of thousands of people, go on the telly, but don't look at us.
But we really like watching you, just to let you know. It's what we enjoy best.
It's quite traumatic.
So what is it when you watch it? Do you think, oh, I wish I'd done it like that, or it's not
Well, it's
what I
that. I mean, that's a
expected?
stage play being filmed, so
Yes.
you feel almost like it's the wrong way
It's
to
the wrong
see
way
it.
to
You need
do
to
it,
be
yeah.
in the theatre to see it. So we didn't. Performances aren't designed to be on telly, as it were. But you know, it's obviously useful publicity.
And you have an idea in your head of how you're appearing, and then obviously it never, you know.
Yeah.
See the appalling
Oh, well, we
truth.
won't show that again. You're safe. You're safe. The first challenge with this play was actually getting the Woodhouse estate to grant you permission to do it in the first place.
Yeah, there's never been a Jeeves and Wooster play in the West End. It hasn't been done. There was a musical that Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote. It was on in the late 70s that Alan Ayckbourn was also involved in. But there's never been a play, so it took some persuading. But I'm delighted to say they are very, very happy with the result.
So they would have, I assume, very strict tick boxes. You've got to go down the list. This is precisely what they would want. It would have to reflect what had happened before.
Yeah.
So how have you done that? What did you have to prove to them that you were going to provide?
I think they just love the script and the idea, and ours is, it could only ever happen in the theatre, so it's unique to, you know, doing it. It could only be a play, because the idea is that Bertie has enthusiastically hired a theatre in order to tell this terrible anecdote about a terrible weekend he's had, you know. So it could only work in that scenario, and I think they just, they love the way that the Goodale brothers, Bobby and David Goodale, had adapted Code of the Woosters.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, we used most of Woodhouse's own, you know, he's renowned as one of the funniest writers ever to write in the English language. And I've got to, you know, agree with that. He is incredible, so...
Which is actually why you think you can't imagine why this hasn't been on the stage before, because it is so funny. What a wonderful place to do it when you hear the laughter, when you're not just reading it or you're not just watching it on the telly.
But your brain works in a very different way. When you read something and you take it in through reading, I think you know, some stuff doesn't work said out loud.
Yeah.
And with that, some of the stuff we've had to work on with the play, these sparklingly, finely wrought sentences, when you read them, they're very intricately written. Sometimes don't work when you say them out loud in the theatre, so you have to slightly adapt them and change it, find out what does work.
Well, we could see in that clip, which you didn't watch, that you obviously have a great working relationship. It must help with the fact that you've known each other for, what, 20 years?
Yeah, something like that. We were at drama school together.
Does that help,
totally.
knowing each other with
immensely.
the timing and with the delivery?
Well, it's a double act, you know. It's one of the most iconic, famous double acts ever written, and there has to be a certain amount of chemistry. You have to have the same sense of humour.
Oh, look, they're showing it again. Don't look, don't look. There's there again.
Oh, God. It's the haircut, as well as the savageness of those haircuts.
They are both brilliant characters. I love the way that Wooster is dismissed. I mean, this is in the novels as being mentally negligible by Jeeves.
I think that's a bit harsh. I don't think he's... I think he's just... He's not stupid. He's got half the quotation and not the whole thing. But he's very keen and he's loyal and...
What if the other said, if he had a mind, there'd be something on it?
But he's a good egg. Which counts for a lot.
He's a good person. And everybody really does need a Jeeves in their life, don't they? I mean...
He's sort of like... he's like a perfect parent. He's sort of omniscient and...
Well, it's harking back those brilliant days, which is why Downton is so successful around the world. I mean, Americans are going to love this, because they love that old-style look at you know, England and good eggs and
That's right. I mean, a world that almost really never existed in that way. It's a sort of idyllic version of and I think that's why it's been so popular in America as well. I mean, Woodhouse wrote a lot of these books with America in mind. But it's that vision of a perfect England where there's a man with nothing to do, really, but go to his club and talk to Bingo Little and, you know, and someone to look after him.
Yeah.
And they get into these scrapes.
Would you like a butler? Do you think you could?
I'd really like a butler. I'd quite like Matthew to be my butler. He's very good at it. What do you reckon?
Lots of costume changes in this as well, because it's the play. You sort of play different characters, and you've got quite a few.
I
You have to
do.
do quick changes.
There's a fair amount of cross-dressing as well,
yes.
Yeah, you haven't lived till you've seen Matthew's size 13 feet in a pair of high heels.
Really?
Let me tell you.
I think
I wish we had a
I've
clip.
never actually seen myself in the dress, which is quite peculiar. So I've got we were talking about the actors' idea of what they look like, so I've got quite a nice... I think I'm quite dishy.
You look very fetching.
My wife is really disgusted by it. Yeah, she said there's nothing dishy about you in a dress at all. So, yeah, so I'm quite glad I've never seen it.
She's probably quite relieved about the fact that, you know, you don't look fantastic in a dress. And,
yeah.
and maybe it's
that's
something you'll leave at work.
Yes.
Yeah. And have you got you've got Postman Pat? Is the movie coming up?
Postman Pat the movie in May, I think it's released.
It's the 3D movie.
3D cartoon movie. Yeah.
You must have got serious dad points for that.
Well, they still don't
am
believe that I'm
Pat.
Postman Pat. I keep saying I'm Postman Pat. No, of course you are, Dad. They think I'm making it up.
Just
so I
you
can't
wait.
wait to take him to the film and say, look, or listen.
Listen,
rather.
It's me.
I mean, I'm not Postman Pat's singing voice. They've gone with Ronan Keating
yes.
for the singing voice. Which is, you know, they didn't even
You
ask me to
obviously
sing.
know that you didn't get the
Steve's got a
opportunity.
lovely
Looked at
voice
me
as
and
well.
thought, he
Yeah.
can't sing. Look at him.
Well, you can't have all the talents, to be fair.
And you reckon that Jess the Cat is so good now that could get a spin-off?
I think Jess, it's all about Jess. Jess is too good. Upstages me in every scene.
Guys, thank you very much indeed. It's
Thank
lovely
you.
to see you
Thank
both.
you. Really
Best of
lovely
luck
to see you.
with it. It's Jeeves and Wooster. That's what we've been talking about, and it's at the Duke of York's Theatre. Thank you.
Till the 5th of April. Thank you.
Coming up on day 2 of our crime week.